All right, Kingding here. If I got a special treat for you kiddies tonight, I have Tim Brogan, this is a FLW bass guy, and just want to give the audience a little insight into what it's like to fish bass tournaments. This can be educational. I know you guys are used to me drinking a beer and catching a 20-inch bass and talking out of my ass, but tonight's going to be about yeah. So, but Kingding, what do you do? That's the way it is. So I got Tim here, and he's graciously let me in his hotel. That's part of the bass fishing life. And we're gonna do a little interview and talk about things that matter if you're considering being a professional bass fisherman or considering not. I guess that's fair, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. So this gentleman, I just want to say thank you, Tim, for letting me in your hotel. Tim fished the FLW today. What did we get? 10 pounds?
9 pounds, 9 ounces.
9 pounds, 9 ounces. Unfortunately, I think it was
About a pound and a half short of making the cut.
a pound and a half shy of making the cut. So, it is what it is. So I just want to ask Tim some questions, and he's going to answer candidly. I told him he's free to swear on the Kingding Fishing Show. That's cool. And so I'm going to ask a couple of questions and let Tim talk and see what happens, all right? So, Tim, how long you been fishing FLW tournaments?
Oh, probably in the vicinity of 25 years. I go back to the old Redman days and draw tournaments, and before that I was fishing a different circuit, Midwest Bass, and unfortunately the guy that was running that died, and it kind of fizzled out, and then
I remember something like that.
That's when FLW started coming around. In fact, when FLW came up with the first Pro-Am, where we first had a boater, non-boater format, I fished the first two tournaments that they had. That was Lake Okeechobee, Florida, and Lake Sidney, Lanier, Georgia.
Gotcha.
Then I ran out of money. I had to go home.
And that sucks, running out of money.
Running out of money always sucks.
That sucks. So let's talk about money. You're in Onalaska, Wisconsin, right?
Correctamundo.
And I'm going off of just pure memory here. You got here 2 days ago?
Right.
So your hotel bill is, there's a plug for the Shadowrun Lodge. It's popular with bass fishermen. Let's just round it off, maybe $150 for the hotel, something like that.
Yeah, I'm rooming with another friend, so we split it. But yeah, roughly it's. Oh, I've been coming here for years, and so he cuts me a little discount. So, yeah.
That's fair to say.
Four nights, $150
Couple
to
hundred.
me. Yeah.
Okay, so
That's about as cheap as you're going to do it anywhere.
So where do you come from then?
I live over in Arpin, Wisconsin.
Arpin, Wisconsin. And so when you talk about gas to get here and drive back, and then put gas in your 20-foot boat, is that what it is? 21-foot Ranger?
I got 20 and a half.
20 and a half foot Ranger with a 107
2 and a quarter
Yamaha.
Yamaha.
2 and a quarter Yamaha. When you take gas into account, how much you thinking for the vehicle, towing it, getting here, putting gas in the boat, total?
Well, I'm right at 100 miles from home.
So 200 miles round trip.
Right, so call that a tank of gas. Depending how much running I do, there's days you can burn $100 worth of gas in the boat at the prices we got today. I only run premium in mine.
Correct.
I see no reason to have ethanol in there with all the problems that motors have been having with ethanol. I don't even put ethanol in my lawnmower. It'll rot out the gas lines in your lawnmower. I just don't use this stuff. I get better mileage on the road with high test gasoline.
So you're thinking probably with 2 test days on the water and the tournament, roughly $250 worth of gas in your boat
Minimum.
minimum. So
Minimum.
let's say $400.
Well, you got oil too.
Oh, you got oil. I
Oh,
forgot.
you got high-priced oil's got to go in there.
You got oil at $21 a gallon.
Yeah, about
maybe?
that.
$22
about that,
a gallon.
Something like that.
So let's just pretend that's $500 for gas, $200 for lodging. That's $900. And how much does it cost to get in the FLW? This is the last tournament in the Great
Oh
Lakes.
gosh. You
It's-
asked me that and I wouldn't even know without
Is it
looking at it.
two-
I just charge it on my charge card.
The 2 and a
I
quarter.
think normally they're like 230, and this one being a super tournament is time and a half, so it would be
275.
like something like 360. I don't even keep track of it anymore. I just swipe my card and that's it.
See, that's what happens. You just swipe your card. But so anyway, and what you're trying to tell me is you're down $1,000 easy.
Yeah, and you got to throw some food in there now and some.
Oh, I
munchies
forgot
and,
the food.
and the morning coffee and
And the
you
Coors-
got to run down in the Quick Trip.
And the Coors Light.
Yeah.
But this guy don't drink, so he's okay.
Well, I mean, the judge discussed that 20-some years ago, and I'm just better off if I don't. But,
Stupid judges.
but
What's the matter?
well, you know,
These
it
people.
wasn't all his fault.
Well, everybody's got problems. But so Tim's graciously let me in here. I'm going to ask him some questions. Hopefully give you some insight into bass fishing and what it's like out here, living your life in a hotel. So the question I have for you though is, when you come to a tournament and you drive all the way here, you got to swipe your card. All bullshit aside, what is the biggest thing in the back of your mind? I know you don't drink now, so it's not a drunk driving. But what's the thing that really irritates you that thinks, oh my God, my trip's going to be wrecked? Is it, I'll just give you some examples, running into a wing dam, fuel, water pump issue, water rising. What's the biggest concern you have? Especially on the Mississippi River and La Crosse. What's the biggest thing that goes, oh man, I hope that don't happen to me?
Especially having traveled all over the country doing this. The biggest fear is breaking down because you're away from home, and it's a lot easier today for everyone with smartphones. Now, I got up here on Wednesday. Thursday, my trolling motor took a dump. Burnt the motor out of it. Water got in past the seal. There I am. I'm dead in the water. My buddy had a smartphone. We looked up the Minn Kota guy. Gee, there's a Minn Kota guy down in Harper's Ferry. Zoom. Luckily, he could take it in right away. Got me back in operation. Loaned me a trolling motor. In the end, it's going to cost me $300 or $400.
$400.
But at least it's one that I can solve. I got lucky that I could solve that. I was headed to Kentucky Lake on a weekend, middle of Friday night, the next day Saturday, dark 30. I'm down by just south of Rockford, and I stopped to get gas, and I got a wobbly wheel, and I had just checked it a few miles up the road.
Oh, that's standard.
Bearing went out.
That happens sometimes.
Break down on the side of the road. If you're smart, you got towing insurance.
Yeah.
And these are, and you're in a strange territory. You're screwed.
Well, the rednecks will get you.
Hey, I wound up taking that thing off. Luckily, I got a dual axle trailer, tied up the axle. I went all the way to Kentucky Lake, 400 miles on 3 axles.
My God.
Those are the biggest fears because you don't have control of them. If I come over here and the water's up, it rains, I can deal with that. I can make those kind of adjustments. It doesn't cost a lot of money. But when you break down hardware on the road anymore.
So let me ask you this. So you're fishing in a tournament. You're Mr. Big Shot. You're going to get the work done and stuff. You're going to make some 5, 6, 10 grand or whatever.
Really?
Well, I don't. That's what you do, right? Well, you didn't come here to get warm. You come here to win the tournament, right?
Yeah, I guess so, sort of. You'd never know it by my record. But
My question is that what is the worst thing that's ever happened to you when you're in the hunt, you're in the tournament? Hey, I just hit a wing dam or something like that. You know, what's biggest expense? Like, pardon my French, what the fuck moment?
mechanical wise,
Yeah. In 25 years, something had to break.
I was down on Kentucky Lake, and I blew my motor.
You blew the motor
I
up.
blew the motor up.
Oh, that's
This was the first year that we had mandatory ethanol gas, and there was a lot of algae problems and things, and nobody really knew how to handle it. And I'm at full speed. I blew my motor.
Nice. What'd that cost?
Not 5 cents, because luckily I had 3 months left on my Yamaha extended warranty, and they replaced everything from the lower unit up. Not fixed it, replaced it. They never, they're not ones to tell you what happened, but that was ugly.
So
That's a sick feeling in your stomach when you're running down the lake and it goes conk.
it's all over but the sniveling.
And I idled back over to the weigh-in area. It took a half hour to get there, but it sounded like a one-lung John Deere going across the water, just at a bare idle.
So you'd say Yamaha stands behind their stuff.
I won't have anything but a Yamaha.
There you go. Plug for Yamaha.
Period.
Period. That's the way it is. Yamaha. Well, I got a Mercury though. What the hell?
Yeah.
They're pretty good, right?
I never ran one.
I can take you. I'm trying to get this guy to go up September and October. I'm taking 3-day trips up to northern Wisconsin on the Chippewa River. I'm trying to get this guy to go with me, but you know, I'm lucky enough to get in the hotel.
That's
with him.
duck season. Or deer season.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You come up here too for ducks, don't you?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes. I've seen you up here before in the past. In your little camouflage, I think. Anyway, this is bass stuff. So, I got like a couple things I want to ask you. What is the number one influence in your life that made you want to fish bass? Your dad, grandpa, Roland Martin, you know.
I came into this. I watched these guys become heroes. I watched Bassmaster become Bassmaster.
Give me some examples.
And
the Kingding audience needs some names. Who's, you know?
Bill Dance was a kid.
He's God, isn't he?
Roland Martin was just a used car salesman.
He could sell cars.
They were kids, and this whole thing developed. The first tournaments in the first classic, these guys came in with these big stringers of bass.
I remember the stringers.
Brought in the stringers and gave them away to the poor or whatever, to the local church to feed the poor. And you know, we've come so far in it. And the first time I ever looked at that, I says, man, that's so cool. Because the only other way that anybody was making a living out of the outdoors was to be a guide, and you know, that just never seemed to rack up any points with me. You know, you know, wow.
But
I can get paid to fish.
I mean, I know you're old, right? Or I'm guessing.
I'm 66 next week.
Maybe it's the beard. Okay, I'm not quite as old.
I'm a child compared to some of these guys.
So you remember, like, not even having a TV?
I remember when I first got a TV in the house. I was 7 years old.
Right.
The first show I ever watched was Toby Tyler Goes to the Circus. We had one channel, black and white.
In my experience, when I was like 9 years old, I had to go to my Uncle Dick's house on Saturday at 10:30 in the morning because he was the only person that had cable TV within miles. And I would go there every Saturday at 10:30 and watch the Roland Martin fishing show. I remember that as a little kid, you know. And I even went out and bought the Roland Martin polarized glasses, you know.
Yeah, when they first came out.
Remember they had the big square thing on the side, you know, so the
Oh yeah, so that it was
It was-
like safety shields.
It was better than sex. I mean, and
Yeah.
I think it was like $12 or something.
It was right up there with 3D glasses.
It was good stuff. You know, and when you watch the guy fish, you know, he's a pioneer in selling his stuff. I mean, he's like,
Roland Martin was a promoter,
he's a genius.
but I mean,
Cause
it's in his personality.
he could sell shit to a whatever. He could, he can do stuff like that. So anyway,
He can sell eggs to the Amish, man.
yeah, he could. Roland, this is a plug. This is Scott's got a lot to learn. Not this Scott, the one you all have. You know, I enjoy his show though. Yeah, if I can get Roland Martin to subscribe to my channel, I would. You know, come on, Roland, come on. This is quality. This is Kingding fishing. Come on, this is the new fishing with Roland Martin. I'll go anywhere on an adventure anytime. All that stuff you talk about on your stuff. So, I had a question for you on a serious note here. When you're fishing a tournament, what is the thing that pisses you off the most ever? Fishermen cutting you off, whatever. What is the thing that you just like can't stand? What's your biggest pet peeve?
Well, it's developed and been developing here in the last few years. Is just lack of respect and courtesy, common courtesy between people. It's in the parking lot, it's at the boat ramp, it's while you're fishing. Just because you can get up there next to the guy and fish doesn't mean you have to. You got a big piece of water here, give him a break, go do something else, come back, maybe he'll move.
So
if he's already fishing it, who wants to do it? But
so they invade your space. They come into your.
yeah, I mean, there's a rule on it. We don't. People are line jumpers because they seem to think that it's okay for them to cut line waiting to get into the boat ramp. They're suddenly more important than we are. Well, if you got an early boat number, get your ass up in the morning and get down to the boat ramp.
Well, that's what I would do.
And even after a 200 boat tournament, you have time. You put your boat in, park your truck, go to boat check, and you will still have time to check in.
No, not all.
You don't have to be cutting line.
No, not all tournament guys are 66, right? So is this like?
Well, there's an old cadre and there's a young cadre, and then there's a few middle class guys.
So are we talking about 20-somethings with cell phones and blah blah blah?
Oh yeah, they got the phone
fishing shows and their big shots and all that.
It's the wannabes, but they just figure the whole world. I don't know what they figure.
Well,
If I'm walking down the street and I meet somebody on the sidewalk, I've got enough courtesy way ahead of time to get at least on one side of the sidewalk or the other. Otherwise, you run into each other.
yeah,
And it's not just me. I hear other guys talking about people that just about run them over out there at full tilt. You're going 65, 70 mile an hour. These things don't have brakes.
No, they slow down fast.
They don't not
Oh.
fast enough to save a life.
That's true. That's true.
It's a big lake. You don't have to come by the guy. The other thing they do, especially in practice, you'll be out there practicing or whatever, and you snap a little fish. By God, pretty soon he'll come 2 or 3 boats with their side imagers and sneak along there. And I mean, you can't say it ain't intentional because he just come all the way across the lake, full tilt, comes off plane, idles past me, gets on plane, and leaves. In the meantime, he's scanning what I'm doing, marks a GPS point. I'm used to people, go find your own fish. Stop following me around.
Yeah, I can understand.
I mean, and this goes clear up into the higher levels. People, you wouldn't believe it. You can go out on Lake Erie. Lake Erie's bigger than most states.
I seen the video.
And I'll be damned.
Seen the video. Is it the video with the 2 bass fishermen colliding together?
Oh no, that was on Kentucky Lake.
Oh, that was on Kentucky. Okay.
But Lake Erie, Kentucky Lake's a big one. Lake Erie is huge.
Yeah.
It's a small ocean. By God, you catch a fish, there will be people come over there and mark a GPS because that's a good spot on that reef. And the reefs out there are pretty good size. Instead of driving around seeing who's catching fish, and find your own fish.
I'm here to tell you, I live on Lake on Alaska, and there's sunfish here in August and September, and a stupid amount of sunfish. And I've seen it where one boat will be next to the spillway, and you'll catch a fish. The next boat. I'll see boats stacked up, stupid, and they're catching 5-inch sunfish. And I'm sitting in a bay in 4 feet of water, just slaying 9-inch sunfish. And all these people are just like monkey see, monkey do. And well, if there's 3 boats there must be fish. If there's 6, they must be really killing them. Same mentality as bass fishermen, kind of. So, one other little question for you is, do you believe in collusion? Do you believe, like, if you talk to local, you talk to local.
That's a big word.
It's a big word. So you come to a small town like this, and you talk to somebody like me, and well, this is where the fish are, and this is blah blah blah. Does that really occur? Do you befriend people or try to befriend local people and ask them?
Always try to be a nice guy. Always have. Even being a completely miserable bastard that I am.
He swore. He said bastard.
Oh, I'm diagnosed, man.
All right.
I'm an arrogant, insensitive son of a bitch, according to my counselor and my ex-wife.
Oh, counselor. Counselor.
I'm on paper.
If you go on the bass tournament circuit, you will have a counselor sometime. Don't marry. Don't get it. Anyway, go ahead.
Marriage is good. I ain't gonna put down mine or anybody else.
Don't bullshit me. You can bullshit most
best
of the
time of my life is married, raising
kids. I believe that.
Yeah. When it's all working good, man, it's best time of my life.
Are
Where were we?
Are you still married to her?
No.
How much did that cost?
Lots.
You don't have to tell me a
It's
specific.
half. I don't know what an amount.
Just half?
Yeah,
she didn't get 3/4
No,
of it?
we were half.
It's all right then. As long as you got good kids.
Oh, I do. I got 13 grandchildren, 12 boys and 1 girl.
That's all that matters. Really. No, I was just asking, if it happens on the tournament circuit where, so and so.
Oh, collusion. That
collusion,
big word.
Collusion. Right.
Oh God.
You hear somebody go.
Am I going to have to get out the Webster and figure out what that means?
No, so you hear somebody going, well, I stopped over at the bar and this guy told me blah, blah, blah. And then I went there and I caught 20 pounds. And if it wasn't for that guy, I would never even known what I was doing,
Now, years ago, it was one of the rules that, like 2 weeks before the tournament, you couldn't get any. You weren't allowed to have any outside help, even verbally. You weren't allowed to solicit outside help, like asking a local, just where the hell they catch bass around here. You weren't allowed to do that. But it's a non-enforceable rule.
That's true. How do you prove it?
Whereas now, you literally could probably come and hire a guide for a week.
Well,
of course, if the guide's any good, he's going to be in the tournament anyway.
Well, you got smartphones and you got waypoints.
It's all just run so fast. God, we used to be lucky. We were so happy when we could get a topographical map of the lakes.
Yeah, you have to pay for
them
dearly. You drive around.
But I remember not being able to get them.
Yeah. And you drive around going, God, that looks nice, but
boom.
Yep. Well, there goes my lower unit.
There's nothing that says there's rocks out here in the middle of the lake, And now they go, you Google Earth and some other webs, and geez, there you are, man. You're driving around, and their GPS is better than stuff I paid $3,000 to have on my boat 10 years ago.
There's a plug for Navionics. I paid $14, I think, for a year, and on my smartphone, it's got.
Yeah, okay. You can't buy a chip for my locator for $14. That's $150.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. This guy doesn't have a smartphone because he's angry because it's $700.
You got to have a smart operator to have a smartphone.
No, you don't. You got to have grandchildren. They'll teach you.
I come from the age of the crank phone on the wall.
Standard, huh?
It was standard. party line.
I see the
Oh,
that thing's modern to you, the touch.
oh man, we had rotaries then before that.
Oh, I remember.
I come up through all that.
I'm old enough. You were probably like on Mayberry, where they call
Yeah, we were along, two shorts and a long.
What's
and
it
you
go-
and you couldn't talk between 2 or 3 o'clock unless there's blood on the floor. Because that's
'Cause
when the
that's
gay blind
restricted.
girls talked, and that was their hour out of the day. And if there wasn't dead people, you didn't cut in on their conversation.
Gotcha. That's awesome. So, all right, now I got a couple of to wind up the interview a little bit. If
Sick of talking to me, sure.
no, I'm not sick of
Yeah,
talking.
drag me around, then right away you want to hang up.
No, because I only got so much memory on the. See the thing. It
Oh,
says-
I thought this was a smartphone. I thought they had all kinds of smarts.
It is a smartphone. It tells me how many minutes I got left.
Looks like 25 minutes.
Right, we got 20 minutes to go.
We've already talked more than we were.
We talked 25 minutes.
Hey, remember,
But you're on the Kingding.
I work by the hour here.
You're on the Kingding Fishing Show.
What did I send you the bill? In the mail.
Tipping's not a city in China. So,
It's not a bad habit here either.
so what is the best advice? You got some kid that's 21-year-old college kid. I know they got tournaments for college kids and blah, blah, blah. What's the best advice you can give a youngster thinking he wants to make a living on the pro bass fishing tour? He's going to go out there and tear up the world. He's going to be Kevin Van Dam and Tim
Well,
Brogan, and he's going to go kick everybody's ass and own the world. What's
Quite-
the best advice you can
quite
give?
frankly, there's a lot more money in doing anything else.
There's more money doing anything
There's
else.
more money doing anything else, and just like NASCAR or anything else, the money's you've got a handful of guys, even the best pros in the country. You got a handful of guys that are actually making any money at it.
12
And
of them, probably.
about that, and that could live off tournament winnings. The rest of them, with their sponsorships, are what keep them alive.
Keep
So-
them alive, then.
Keep them alive. They earn a living at it, but at the same time, they're running around to all these sports shows, which sounds very glamorous. I've spent a whole life living on the road, 46 years over the road in a truck. It's expensive, and unless you like being away from home, you can't be involved in that.
Well, but this is a nice hotel a little bit, and you got the Kingding Fishing Show here and stuff. This has got to be one of the highlights of your last 20 years, right? Well, come on, you can lie a little bit to the
The only high life I ever knew was a Miller,
Miller ones. I know, and I'm trying to get close.
and I didn't like the stuff.
I'm happy that you don't drink though. This
Well,
guy
so am
doesn't
I.
drink. Can you believe it? He doesn't drink.
Yeah, that means I'm not in jail.
But the problem is that you don't get no sponsorship. How are you going to get Coors Light to
It's
sponsor you?
awful damn hard at the level we're at right here to get any kind of sponsorship.
That's true.
And the guys that really get into the sponsorships and the promotion and the TV, you take a look at their background. They
got the cash.
well, or they either come from cash or they know somebody that comes from cash.
Well, right. Like,
But at the same time, they're college graduates in public relations, business, many related things, but maybe or maybe not fisheries management.
yeah.
So, the whole thing turned around from who the hell was the guy from Missouri?
Forrest Wood.
Well, he invented this whole thing with his boat.
Oh, it's Morris. Johnny Morris.
No, he's Bass Pro. He had a TV show years ago. I can't think of his name right now. And then some of the early guys with Bassmaster. That's what you had. So that's what went to the sports shows and gave seminars and things like that. And they got a little bit of scratch for it, Whereas today, that ain't. Unless you're a Kevin Van Dam, it's going to be very hard to fish your way to that level.
Right.
But if you've got that degree that says, yeah, I'm in public relations, I know how to do this, I know how to do that, and things.
See,
It's harder and harder all the time.
I'll give you
to get any of that.
I'll give you an example. I think 2 years ago, Tim Frederick was here. He won 100,000, I believe, in January, February, on Okeechobee last year. But 2 years ago, him and PT were here. Can't pronounce his last name.
Peter T?
PT, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were here.
That's how the rest of us get out of it.
There you go, PT. So, and I was talking to Tim. Hey, where are you, Tim? You need to text me back. King Dangling sends you a text, and I send the guy nice videos and stuff, and you don't even. I guess if I won 100 grand, I wouldn't talk to me either. But
he's a busy man.
He's a busy guy. So anyway, this guy tells me, he goes, Pete's not sponsored, and it's his own fault because whatever. But social media, this video crap, a lot of these guys make their money because they're masters at social media, promoting themselves,
Yeah,
kind of like the Kingding.
It's all part of it. It's all part of it.
Yeah, like the Kingding.
Mm-hmm.
And
you sell yourself.
It starts with a bunch of nonsense, and you just kind of build on it, and that's what happens.
Yeah, you sell yourself.
It's a different.
And somehow, tournament fishing has just never. I don't feel it's ever been promoted right. Bassmaster was part of ESPN at one time.
Yeah, I remember that.
You still couldn't get them on TV. You couldn't still see the shows on TV, the tournaments. And then they go to some off channels or whatever because it was cheaper. You still couldn't get it.
TBS said.
It's just nobody's ever really sat down and said, hey, this is what we're doing. You got an insurance company that'll sponsor a golf tournament, and these guys are cutting millions. Well, who the hell buys insurance? I got a truck. We've all got between $40,000 and $80,000 boats. We've got to carry a minimum of $300,000 liability for anyone riding in our boat.
Let me ask you this:
we're the insurance people. Nobody promotes this thing properly.
What does it cost? That's the question I was wondering: is what does it cost to insure your 21-foot Ranger for a year?
About half of what my truck is.
Give me a number. My audience, they're
not
not brilliant enough.
My brain would be lying to you if I thought I knew what it was off the top of my head. I have no idea.
It's okay to lie on the dingling
I
show.
have no idea.
Over 2,000 a year?
No.
No, 1,000?
Well, it depends on your record.